Welcome to another episode of the Bald Guys on the Bench podcast with your hosts Graham Cohen and Scott Wasco.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bald Guys on the Bench, a sports comedy podcast by the everyday fan for the everyday fan.
And like we always do, Scott, when rambling together about sports, it's time to grab one and crack one,
Hey,
brother.
before
Let's
we
go.
grab it and crack it, I got to welcome something to our podcast, and that's our new sponsorship. I'm pleased to announce BCB Clothing has now become a new sponsor of the Bald Guys on the Bench. For everybody that listens to us, if you don't know what BCB Clothing is, you will soon. I'm just promising you that. And Graham, like we always do, let's do it, bro. And as we crack that beer, I'm just going to go ahead and say that is the only beer you're going to hear me crack tonight, because I guess there's some issue going on in the state of Virginia getting quarters. There's no cans, dude. I don't know what's going on. So I got these things, these pints, so you're going to hear me twist tap. So I'm sorry about the grab it and crack it. You're going to hear me grab it and twist it tonight. So
versus what he does on every other Saturday night. Oh!
So BCB Clothing, thank you so much for sponsoring the Bald Guys on the Bench. I can't wait to watch this company grow and blossom and become an everyday household name. And it all started with a friendship between you, me, and somebody our listeners know as Grammar Police. We're not going to tell everybody what it is because it's a secret and it's coming out. But BCB Clothing, we love you. Thanks for sponsoring us. Thanks for the support. You're the shit, With that being said, Graham, how was your weekend?
Yo, let me tell you something. Huge shout out again, BCB. Thank you. It's amazing. We're super thrilled about it.
It started with you, right?
So thrilled that I'm speechless. That being said,
Did you
weekend,
get to watch any golf? I know it sucks on the West Coast when the British Open's being played because it's on so early and you work late and then get up early on Sunday.
I got to watch it on SportsCenter. So yes, I did watch some of it. And the thing was, it's just, for some reason that time difference just really takes it out of me. I don't know. Here's the thing. If other players were in it, or if it, well, let me say it this way. If there was more on the line, if it was tighter matches, would we have done more to pay more attention to it? Like, would we have gotten up early? If Tiger was playing, would we have set that alarm and started watching it 4:00 in the morning? I don't know. From what I saw, it looked like a good tournament. What had happened in it. And I know that couldn't be any more vague, but I don't want to say anything that we're going to talk about later, because I got a nice reprimand after what happened last week when I jumped the gun on the when I jumped the gun on the kick rock statements, folks. The tongue lashings that Scott gave me after that, sheesh. But no, just like I said, getting ready, fantasy preparation. Excited that I just found out earlier today that I thought I was in a league, but then I thought I wasn't in the league. But guess what? I'm in the league. So I'm in a new league. I'm excited about it. Other than that, just talking with the fam. I'm excited. I'm going to drive down and meet them in San Diego, hang out with them for a day and a half, spend some time with them. So I'm excited for it. And other than that, just spending some extra time. Dude, do you know how hard it is to find tickets to go see a movie? Yo, I'm trying to see Oppenheimer, that new film about the atomic bomb, but I want to see it.
Did you see that? Did you see that on the?
No. So I'm waiting to see it.
Not that.
Go ahead.
You didn't see that on the film, on the video stream? A moth just flew and landed on my shirt. See it right there? What the hell? Where did that son of a bitch come from? Hey, watch this. You wanna watch me kill a moth? Mama! Any
He just,
Oh,
like,
no, that
tumbles, like
he's I'll pick his ass up in the morning. Anyhow, sorry. I thought that was kinda funny.
No, I um, what was I saying now?
Some
You
movie
got me
about the
that
atomic
was
bomb.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No. So the movie was shot on 70 millimeter film and it was done on
Right.
an IMAX camera, but in 70 millimeter. So basically, it's a special type of film that it makes it look a little bit more realistic and it's more like a wide angle lens. And my boy Brian was talking about it and he's like, dude, it's like, we need to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, here's the problem there's only two theaters in the greater Los Angeles area that has theaters
What?
that play this. And apparently this movie's been such a big deal that people are filling up the seats. So I'm not sitting in the front row
No.
to see this movie, but it seems like I'm not going to be able to watch this until another week and a half. So I'm a little bummed about that. But dude, going back and forth trying to find the right dates, it's been a real pain in the ass. But other than that, the weekend's been good.
Yeah.
You know, the usual. But what about you, brother?
Dude,
What's up with your weekend?
it's been good. Had to work a couple days all weekend. Wife and kids went to Colorado, so I'm bacheloring it here for 10 days. So there's been a lot of these going down. Uh British Open week and got to watch a little bit of golf. Not a lot because NBC and DirecTV, you still suck. Thank God I was at work and got to watch it streaming on Peacock. But something I got to bring up that I didn't expect. You and I got invited to our boy Andy, aka Grammar Police, his 40th birthday party. Obviously, we couldn't go. I was bummed. You were bummed. I mean, you'd have to fly across the
Right.
country. I'd have to find a dog sitter, the whole deal. His party was last night, and if you remember, I was talking to him on Friday night. We had a little three-way call, me, you, and him. And I was like, Steph, to his girlfriend, I'm going to FaceTime you at some point tomorrow night at the party. And I want to talk and hang out, talk to you like we were there. Well, I FaceTime Steph right as Andy, who says he's an amazing bowler. And she's like, look, he's warming up. He's warming up. And he claims he has 192 average, and I watch him throw 2 gutter balls, and I'm like, "Is that real?"
Oh, jeez.
Anyhow, I was laughing at that. So after he throws his 2 gutter balls, he goes and gets on the mic and gives a speech, like, saying, "Thanks to everybody for coming," and this and that. Well, I'm on FaceTime, right? And I tell Steph, I'm like, "Steph, go put the phone up to the microphone, and I wanna talk to this crowd at the lodge." And she does, and she
Oh,
does.
wow.
And I have them dying, right? I'm like, "Love you, dude. Sorry we can't be there. Graham and I wish we could be there, yada, yada, yada. I've only known you for 2 years. You've become a homie. I love what you've done, yada, yada, yada." And I'm like, "Steph, I'm gonna send you $50, because shots are like $1.25 at the lodge, and take a bunch of shots." And so they're dying. And so I was like, I texted Steph. I'm like, "Could they hear me on the microphone on the phone?" She's like, "Oh yeah, it was great. Loved it." But the best part of the night was Andy calls me on his way home in Uber. And, whenever I'm in Uber, whenever you're in Uber, I like to talk about the podcast, talk about the show, especially if they're a sports fanatic like you and I. And I asked this guy, and here's a shout out, and I
Right.
remember your name. I don't know how I remember your name because it was about 12:30 last night, and his name was Kelvin. And so I'm talking to their Uber driver, and I'm like, "Kelvin, are you a football fan?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Who are you a fan of?" And he goes, "Duh, the Steelers." And I'm like, "Of course you are, you spoiled ass franchise, 87 championships." And he's
Oh.
laughing and he's like, "Who are you a fan
Oh.
of?" And I'm like, "The Chargers." And I go off and Andy and Steph are rolling. Our new boy Kelvin that listens and subscribed in Uber as he was driving our friends home. Subscribed to the podcast. He was dying. I was going off on Brandon Staley and how he's a defensive guru, aka little mini helmet, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it. Ass hat blows a 27-0 lead. And Andy was like, dude, you're blowing your kick rocks moment in my Uber ride. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I'm sorry, but whatever. But it was cool. It was fun. Andy sent us a video of a tequila shot that he took, and it was a double tequila shot, and it looked like he was going to puke. It almost had me dry heaving. I don't know about you, Graham.
I, no, I mean when let's just say
Mm.
struggle bus for him trying to finish that shot. He's like, "Oh yeah, guys."
Oh, but anyhow, happy 40th, Andy. Sorry we couldn't make it. Thanks for being one of our biggest supporters and there when we founded the BCB clothing line. So you
Yes.
were a part of our new sponsorship.
And
Thank God we have some billionaire, backing BCB that's backing the bald guys on the bench. Everybody will hear about this later, but just be prepared, folks. BCB coming on strong.
so, what else happened that night?
Last night,
Yeah,
I don't remember.
we don't need to get into that specific thing. I wanted to talk about what's in this video that you see that's not in his possession.
Oh, as I was talking about
Ta-da!
the podcast to my new favorite Uber driver on the planet, Kelvin, uh, he goes, "Kelvin, look, they even have hats." And I'm like, "You don't have a hat on, bro." And he goes, "Oh shit, I left it at the bar." Epic fail.
So you're telling me that our boy, the dude that I don't want to say pretty much begged us, but was sincerely jealous when he noticed that we had hats. And granted, these hats, bro. There's special occasion, and then there's like antique
Mhm.
vintage in the sense of there was only 5 of these
12,
or 6 or
12,
7 or however many
12.
we got.
They were the
12, you know what I
OGs.
mean? The o- yeah, the only 12 people that have them are like the
Right.
close people. And you got the last one, homie. You wanted to wear it. You wore it with pride, and
You
we're
sent us
appreciative.
a
Don't
text
get me
saying,
wrong.
"I'm representing tonight at my 40th birthday party." And like all the beers you left around my house, there was one lone soldier left. Just saying.
So, Andy, if that's not found at the Moose Lodge, you ain't getting another one. So,
But Kelvin, thank you for getting my friends home safe. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. You're the man. Message me on Instagram, and I got some stickers coming your way to throw to you and your boys. You got to hit me up on Instagram though, at Bald Guys on the Bench.
let's
Kelvin was the
go.
deal, and Andy kept calling him
Yeah.
Calvin. I'm like, bro, he said Kelvin with the E, not an A. You dumb shit. And
I mean, to be fair, him at that for how toasty he was, the fact that he even got Calvin is close enough. So, like,
I'm
let's be
surprised he
real.
didn't call him Craig. I mean, but anyhow,
Craig.
dude, the last major of the year happened. It finished today. The Open
It
Championship
did.
at Royal Liverpool. Before we go into the champion golfer of the year, there were some cool stories that happened that are the reasons why you and I love sports. Why we always say sports is the greatest reality show ever. shit you can't make up, right? I mean, going into the event, the news and the press, positive or negative, were talking about the 17th hole and how they redid it and how there were like literally 4 false fronts on a 130-yard hole and how
Right.
carnage was going to happen on this hole. We saw carnage today on the 71st hole. We'll talk about that in a minute. And because of that carnage, T-Bone Wasco came in second place in a massive pool thanks to Tommy Fleetwood's triple bogey. Yeah, on a
Oh,
133-yard par
Tommy.
3. But a couple cool stories. Matthew Jordan, okay, member at Royal Liverpool. His dad is a multiple club champion there. He's been a club champion there. My guy birdies 18 today, his 72nd hole, to finish tied for 10th at 4 under par. And the emotion that
What?
he showed when that putt hit the bottom of the hole was so awesome, dude. He was so fired up. Imagine playing the Open Championship at your home course where you grew up at, and then coming in tied for 10th. Don't
Hey,
don't stat check me, but I'm almost positive that gets him in the Open next year.
I, yo, as I like to say, I mean, there's only one other story that tops that.
Well,
Well, I wouldn't say
maybe
tops,
2.
but is at level,
Maybe
at
2.
par. Well, okay, 2. But
What's the other one?
well, I'm thinking
Oh,
Block,
yeah.
Michael Block.
Well, I thought you were talking about this event. This event, not yeah.
Oh, no, I just
You
meant
said in
I I
general.
I just
Okay.
meant the yeah, in
Mhm.
general. Yeah. Just, because his own club,
I
blah, blah,
mean,
blah,
how cool is
you
that?
know.
I mean, all the members, his family are there. They're members of that club, dude. His dad's a club champion there. He's won the club championship there, and he qualifies and gets to play in it.
It don't get much
Dude,
better than that, folks.
I
I
instantly became a
I
fan.
mean, besides taking down the
I
dub,
instantly became a fan of this guy because the emotion that he showed when that putt went
yeah.
in the hole was more emotion than I than Harmon showed. It meant not that it didn't mean anything to Harmon, but you could tell what it meant to this Jordan kid. It was insane.
Hey, people express themselves differently than not one person
Right.
is the same as anyone else, and hey,
Yeah.
to each their own. Celebrate in your own. But for only what? This was his 4th victory on tour and his first major? Bro, I'm not saying you gotta act like a wild man or get anything crazy, but a
It
little
was
something?
I was bummed
Like,
for him. I don't even wanna get into it yet, but I will say this. I was bummed for him. His family wasn't there. His wife and 3 kids
wow.
weren't there. I mean,
Really?
dude, he was 80 to 1. Some people were
Yeah.
posting they got him at 125 to 1 in Vegas.
Okay. And when you got the 5-shot lead after 2 or this 5-shot lead after 3,
Get him on a
holla.
gosh darn
Here's the
plane.
plane. That's that's what I'm saying.
It's
That's what
not
I'm
like flying
saying.
across the country though. To his def
You're telling me one of his corporate
I know.
sponsors, you telling me NetJets wouldn't be
I
like,
know.
"Yo, hey, let's pull up and bring the
Yeah.
wifey and
Yeah.
kids." I mean, but then again, with that weather that
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
today, sheesh.
So, another
All right,
yeah.
everyone, let's
Dude,
let's set up the display and do everything
it
outside.
was
What?
so awkward for the president of the RNA making the announcements, low amateur announcing the champion golfer of the year. You could see all the executives of the RNA and they were like, dude, can we get this going a little faster? It's pouring down rain right now. Like, but anyhow, I don't want to talk about that yet. What I want to talk about, dude, is something that my boy Aiden told me about Friday on the way to play golf down in North Carolina, and that is none other than the natterback toad. I had no idea about this thing
Oh.
until Aiden brought it up on our way down to play golf. And for those of you that don't know what the natterback toad is, it's an oh shit, am I gonna have issues with pronouncing a word? Endangered species.
What did you say? Oh my
It
god.
is.
That bro, come on. Come on. Come
Let's
on.
go.
There we go.
It's
Come on.
literally an animal that is 6 to 8 centimeters and weighs 4 to 19 grams. And its home is at Royal Liverpool. Well, England made a law in 1991 protecting this animal. And if this animal shows up on the golf course, all play has to halt. And there's only one person on property that has the permission from their country to remove it. And that was the course superintendent. Well, it showed up Saturday on the 13th of the green. How amazing is that, dude?
I,
Person, bro.
I'm sorry. I
One
just still get.
person is allowed to touch this thing, and it's the golf course superintendent.
Hey, can you guys get on the radio and phone and radio the head greenskeeper because we need to stop play right now.
All play has been
Because we
halted
got
in
this.
the 151st Open Championship because of an animal that's 6 to 8 centimeters. And it's a toad.
And it looks like a slug.
It's a
And it
right?
looks like a slug. I don't care what anyone says.
Uh,
It's a slug.
uh,
I,
amazing.
yeah. Speaking of, wait, hold on. Before I do a transition that's not in the notes here, folks, let me double check here. I don't want to say anything out of turn. All right, cool. Um, Speaking of out of pocket, I wouldn't say out of pocket, but just everything that needs to be put on hold if that situation happened. You mentioned something about the RNA about
Yeah,
2 minutes ago, and did you notice or did you wonder if I was going to bring this up? Which I feel like you would. If you know me, you would know I would bring this up. Did you notice the treatment or at least some questions that were asked during or should I say prior to the start of the tournament of how RNA is dealing with live players or former
I
live
didn't.
players? Did you notice that no live player was in any of the feature groups?
I really didn't.
And
Yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
this is like a thing. I'm just saying, wouldn't it pretty amazing that you don't have the last former champions of even the majors now? Kepka wasn't there, uh, Wyndham wasn't there, and I was just like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Um, and then also just some of the pairings. Do you think it was coincidental that Kepka and Cantley played
That
together?
it
I
makes me
mean,
chuckle. Es-
I'm not saying it
especially
doesn't. I'm just saying a little bit
especially after what
interesting.
Kepka said after he
Kind of.
saw the pairings. And he was like, "Oh, I guess
Oh, I
somebody
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
want me to
right.
win. They paired me with this ass bag." And
Yeah.
then there was some quote. It was probably fake, but it was on like golf PGA memes or whatever, and it was talking about Kepka if he'll talk with Cantley, the first 2 rounds, and if they'll have any conversation. And he goes, the only thing I'm going to probably say to him is, dude, hurry up. He goes, he said something.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered exactly his quote, but it was something like, he spends more time. I don't even want to ruin it because I'll smack myself again. Something about a
Uh
watch thief stealing time or something, hilarious, dude.
Hey, I'll say this though. After all the drama that's been going on with Liv, Kepka, and everything, the fact that he has the best meme in the golf world. like this whole season, you know what
What?
it is, right? So when they're asking him in an interview, like, what would you do to affect, players that are
Right.
slow playing? He's like, what would you do? And on the podium, he says, oh, he's like, I'd stroke guys. I'd be stroking guys.
Oh god.
So they just clip that part of it instead of saying the rest of it, and it's just like I can't tell you the amount of memes
Oh,
that
I
I've
can only
seen
imagine.
with oh, dude, brutal. And I'm
You wanna
just like,
you wanna talk about
hey,
live guys? Did you by any chance see what Dustin Johnson shot in the Open Championship?
bro, if you want to go down the list of great players that did squadoosh, there's a long line. So
I'm not asking you about great players. I'm talking about players that took the cash
nah,
and did.
no. Well, okay, in this one tournament specifically, no. Okay, I'm not. I'm not up to the look. I know a bunch of them because like Phil went
Yeah, but
did
Phil's
nothing.
not
Gooch
supposed to.
thing.
He's old,
Oh,
you
I
know.
know. Hey, I know.
DJ goes
Yeah.
74.
So was Patrick
Yeah, he's
Harrington.
also 70. Um DJ goes 74, 81.
Yeah.
But what we're going to talk about in a little while is the Ryder Cup standings and another notable player who won a major last year, Justin Thomas. He opened up with like a 80 something round. Ugh, dude, I don't know.
Imagine all your boys are going to a special event that you
Ugh.
can't go to because, yeah,
He opened up
no bueno.
with 82 with a 9 on the 18th hole and then shot even par the
That's
second day with a 6 on the last hole. That 18th hole was talked about over and over and over because of the internal out of bounds. And,
right.
I'm just going to say this, and I don't want to say anything else about it.
Uh oh.
It was the same internal out of bounds for all players in the field. You knew it when you showed up on Monday, Sunday, and playing in a practice round. It's not like they decided, hey, guess what? It's Thursday. Let's put it there. No, you knew it was
Right.
there. Our boy Fowler made what, 8 on that hole his first round,
Yeah.
and he was 2 or 3 under going into that and ended up 1 over.
It's a huge swing.
They all knew it was happening. They all knew it was there. Bitch about it all you want, but you knew it was there. Tyrell Hatton, who please God Netflix put on your show next year, whatever that thing was called, on Friday, full
Full
swing.
swing. Yeah.
Friday, he was like 2 under, 2 or 3 under, and he made like an 8 or 9 on the 18th hole. And Tyrell Hatton is known for being a whack job. And I mean, saying Augusta National is a bad golf course. Like when you say Augusta National is a bad golf course, dude, you just shut up. But he literally grabs his putter, and it's on Twitter. He grabs his putter and makes it like it's a shotgun and starts shooting the internal out of bounds markers.
Yeah.
You all knew it was there.
I, I, you're not going to
You
hear anything
know,
from me about it.
these are the
I get it.
greatest players in the world. The world.
Yeah.
You know it's there.
And those conditions.
I mean,
Can't, yeah,
can we talk about
exactly.
something that you brought up earlier when we were on the phone about,
Yes. I was actually
is it
just
the
going to bring it up
Fitzpatrick
too.
thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
talk about it because this is amazing to me. And I'm so
All
stoked
right.
for him because he's like, hey, suck it, US Open champion.
Dude, my thing about that is is this. When we were talking about it prior to the taping right now, it was more of like, "Hey, did you hear about this type of thing?" He was like, "Oh yeah, well, the only reason why I even remembered is case in point, the miniseries on Netflix, The Full Swing. I had no idea Homeboy had a brother, and what we're talking about is Matt Fitzpatrick. You know, that guy that won the US Open last year. You heard of him? Is he any good?"
At the country club in
Yeah.
Brookline, Massachusetts?
Yeah. So his brother plays golf. He was decent. I didn't know anything about him, but I recognized him because he was on the episode when his brother was on. And it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. But then I noticed before this tournament started, that he actually qualified to play in the event. I was like, wow. I was like, I guess the kid does
Right?
have some game. Then to find out, not only does he have game, he does better than his brother.
How good
Like,
is that family
what?
dinner tonight?
I
I
mean,
mean,
right?
Matt's got
So,
a US Open, but your brother's like, "Yeah, hey, bro, how'd you finish today?"
yeah. And they are European, so not that one major is better than another, to each their own. Some people like one more than the other. It is what it is. I mean, look, it's all jokes, giggles, and a couple jabs in the side, but they're
Oh,
super
yeah.
excited about it. I thought it was amazing because I'm just like, wait a minute, this guy not talking shit, but this guy did better than the plethora
Yeah,
of people of well-known
right?
players that did
Yeah.
squadoosh. I'm like, wow, that was a huge story for me. Also, another kind of huge story. We really didn't talk about it, but I just want to briefly bring it up because I sent it to you in a text. Did you see that text that I sent you about
Yes,
the
I was gonna
players
bring that up.
that all the players that made
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I didn't know if you were,
Yeah.
but all the players that made the cut in all 4
That's a
majors,
great
and I'm looking
list,
at this
right?
list and I was like, I know, but here's the thing. It's a great list, but what's the most blaring
You want me to tell
person
you
on
my
there?
honest
And you're
opinion?
like, "Really?" Yes, because if it's not mine, I'd be
If you
surprised.
don't say Patrick Reed, we're not friends anymore.
Oh, obviously it's Patrick Reed. Obviously it's
Patrick
Patrick
Reed
Reed.
made the cut in every
What?
major this year?
I know. What?
Dude, him and Aaron Rodgers, I bet
But
him and Aaron
but fu
Rodgers go to dinner together because they don't like their moms. I bet they're best friends. I mean, if you have a restraining order, dude, against your mom,
I
you're if
I don't know
you
what to tell
don't
you,
allow your
but
mom and dad to come to Augusta when you win the Masters like that asshat did years ago, and Ricky finished 2nd,
right.
and he grew up, like, 10 minutes away from Augusta, like, you're not on my top 10 list.
Oh, dude, that whole yeah, it's but so there's 12 names. I'm surprised there was not that there was only 12, but
It was a pretty good
how about
list,
this?
dude.
Tell me if this is tell me if this is good company. Kepka, Cam Smith, Matsuyama, John Rahm, Cantley, Patrick Reed, Fox, Scheffler, Fleetwood, Hatton, Hovland, and Shoffley. I mean, pretty
Not one of those names
all
shocked
decent.
me except for Reed, and I don't even know what Fox's first name is.
I was hoping you were gonna save me
No,
on that because
because
I'm
when
like,
I wasn't going to even
I
look it up because I thought that would be funny for the podcast because I don't have a clue. I don't have a
it's
clue.
not. No,
Fox.
I was gonna say a name, and I was like, no,
Let's
that's an
just let's
NBA
just
guy.
take
Never
a
mind.
guess.
I
What do
was
you
gonna
think Fox's first name is? I don't even know. Like my hands are right here. Like I always tell you, don't Google it. Show me your hands. What do you think his first name is?
I'm not. I'm looking at my phone. That's the pictures. The name that's coming to mind is Darren, but I think that's a basketball name. I don't think it's Darren Fox. I have no
I'm
idea.
just gonna go and here's my hands. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Trevor. I don't know why. All right,
could
I'm
be.
gonna Google it right now.
Could be. Yeah, yeah. You Google it, and we'll do that. But
What a good I mean,
You
how
know?
good are those 12 players, though?
Oh, I
I
mean,
mean,
besides
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 I mean,
Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed, can you do me a favor, dude, and get rid of the choke chain? I don't even know if you still wear it or not, but I mean, the '80s called and they want their little shell choke chain necklace back. I mean, good. Oh, dude, we weren't even close. Ryan Fox. I said Trevor. Would you say Brian? Darren. All right.
Darren.
Well, Trevor's T is closer to R, so I win. You're welcome. I mean, who the hell is Ryan Fox? Where the hell did he come from?
Hey, if you don't know who he is, there is no bleep in way I'm gonna know who he is.
I
So
mean, let's look at his
it's
bio. Let's see what it says about him. I mean, I'm looking at come on, you stupid PGA Tour app. Let's look at
yeah.
him. He's from New Zealand. His official
Oh,
world
that's
golf
why.
ranking is 42, so he's obviously pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Career earnings 1.6 million. That was all in the majors.
Yeah,
I
right?
dude, who is this
I
guy?
mean, who knows?
That's amazing. Oh well.
Oh, you didn't because it was that good.
Dude. So can we get on with it? Our picks, dude. You know what's
Yeah.
a bigger surprise than me and my long shot winning? It's Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. Dude, look, all I'm gonna say is this. I don't want to say this, but it's about damn time. Like, are you gonna be that good all the time? Which good for you if that is the case, but what did we say? Hasn't he been a top 15 player in the last how many majors?
Not only
And like
majors, but
not only
but
making the cut.
events.
Dude, as I said to you, I couldn't tell you the guy before he even started winning. I didn't know who he was. And then when he started going on that streak, I was like, yo, where'd this dude come from? He's new on the tour, yada yada. And I'm like, oh, well, we better watch out for this guy. And sure enough,
It was
like here he is. And
it was crazy.
for the
It was
first
crazy
time,
because round 1
he
on Thursday, he played like complete total dog shit and then birdied the 18th hole to shoot 1 under. And everybody's like, "Oh, here we go, yada yada yada. Here comes Scotty Scheffler." And then
right.
Friday, dude, he got up and down on 18 to make the cut on the number.
Wow. Yeah,
And
that's right.
out of the bunker. And my boy Aiden and I, like I was talking about earlier, we went down to North Carolina and played some golf, awesome golf course. And we're on the way back and he's like reading everything. And he's like, dude, Scheffler literally got up and down on 18 to make the cut on the number. And I think the cut was 3 over. He was 3 over through 2 rounds. And Aiden and I were
Yeah.
both joking around and we're like, yeah, he's going to shoot 66, 66, backdoor top 10 it. You know, not that we were joking, but we believed it. I
Right.
mean,
When the man's
remember
been
what he
doing
did at the
it,
US Open on Saturday on the last 2 holes? He holes out, goes eagle birdie to put himself in the second to last group.
is that any good? I know. It's we finally. I don't want to say like we found the chink in the armor. It's not that at all. It's just you know sometimes the golf gods did not look down on him this week.
And let's stop talking about who didn't win and let's talk about who put the pedal to the metal and won the event.
All right, let's do
The
it.
champion golfer of the year, Brian Harman from Georgia, played at the
Wow.
University of Georgia. He's a bulldog. The guy, I'm not going to pat myself on the back. He was 80 to 1. He shot 4 under the first round. He was one shot back from an amateur from Georgia Tech. A 6'8" dude from Georgia Tech. Let's just talk about that. But
That hits it a
all I
mile.
want to say is the golf that I watched Brian Harman play. I didn't get to watch hardly anything on Friday. I watched some on Thursday and I watched yesterday and today. I was so impressed how in control he was. And what was more impressive to me than the stat we're going to talk about in a second is his lag putting and his fairways hit. Dude, he started off yesterday with a 5-shot lead. He bogeyed 2 of his first couple holes. Didn't panic. Said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to keep hitting fairways. I'm going to keep hitting greens, and I'm going to keep lag putting." And he did the same thing today. The guy lived up to the Georgia, and I hate to say this because Georgia, University of Georgia, has a bunch of players on tour. Besides them, probably Oklahoma State. You can argue about the alumni that are on tour right now. But Brian Harman, what he did the last couple days was impressive as shit. I mean, he was 2 over yesterday through like 4 or 5 holes. He's like, "I'm good. I'm gonna make a couple birdies, shoot even par, make a couple birdies on the back nine. Yeah, I got a 5-shot lead." John Rahm goes out and shoots 63 yesterday, has 8 birdies, course record. Yeah, whatever. I ain't scared. And dude, the guy was just nails. He was nails, dude. It was impressive. Through 3 rounds of golf in the Open Championship, he was 44 of 44 of putts from 10 feet and in. Repeat that. Say that out loud.
There's just some things in life that you hear stats and you're just like, what?
44 of 44
Like,
from 10 feet and in. He,
and what have we said on this podcast before? All you need is
he
4
was
rounds.
so in control of everything, dude. It was so sick. It was cool to watch because here's a guy, this is the first time that he's on this stage. He was close in the US Open in LA, but this is the first time he's on this massive stage. The media, everybody, he waggles more than Sergio Garcia at Bethpage Black, and everybody's giving him shit. And he came back today and goes, "Hey, you know what? I had 100 and probably out of the event, I probably had 150 full swings. I made 3 million." He goes, "I made $1,500 per waggle. So suck on that." How good is that? Dude, he said somebody
Love it.
yesterday after he made his second bogey through 4 holes from the crowd said, "You don't have the stones to win this." And he said he used that as motivation. They booed him, bro, on the first tee today because, they wanted Fleetwood. They wanted the England guys. He was like, "Yeah." And he reminds me of Kevin Kisner. Those Georgia Bulldogs all seem to be fiery dudes.
Yeah.
They use that shit as
Yeah.
motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, and not only talking about Georgia
It's
Bulldogs, how about a guy that came tied for second that was teammates with him, and that's your boy Straka.
it's hey, I don't want to say this. There are certain organizations that just know how to do things the right way. And this could be across
Yeah.
any sport or even in life, you know what I mean? That's just if you have the opportunity to put yourself in a situation that you can learn from and go from there, it can only be beneficial. And the players that have come out of Georgia, you're right. I mean, the list of players, it's pretty amazing. So, um, that I want to say it's not surprising, but just for me, like how you were saying, just how low key he was, how even keel he was the whole time about it. And, you know, for people, I don't want to say it that way. Most of the people that listen to us are golf
Right.
fans. Would you
100%.
not agree? So, I mean, like, so they get it, but I try to, at least when we have these types of conversations, be a little dramatic about it, because it's just like, folks, these stats that we've mentioned, like, golf is not easy at all. To be 44 of 44 inside of 10 feet,
Through 3
what?
rounds.
Through 3 rounds. And then to finish 58 out of 59 in 4 rounds of 10 feet and in. What? You couldn't. I'll give you
Dude,
I'll give you 50 6-foot putts right now.
dude,
Make every one.
the crazy thing is Friday, his round where he shot, what did he shoot? Friday. Gosh dang it. Oh, he shot 65 on
It's
Friday.
like,
He
is that any
had
good?
23 putts. Remember, for those people that don't know golf, there's 18 holes of golf. He had 23 putts. Yeah,
It's his time. I mean, dude, dude is throwing
dude, he
darts
was so
with
in control, Graham. So in control.
with a long range scope.
He hit fairways.
That's
He hit
23
23 putts,
putts.
dude. He hit fairways whenever you thought somebody was getting close to him yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, hold my beer."
So he two putted 3 holes and one putted
Basically.
every one. Like, I'm trying to do the math here. I was like, wait,
Yeah. I mean,
what? What?
it was
Folks, that means you have to stick it.
not only
Like,
that, but he was making
he's
bombs,
throwing.
dude. He wasn't hitting it to 5 feet on every hole.
Oh my god, that would be, yeah. This ain't this isn't '05
Right.
Tiger Woods. This
I
is
mean, the guy just came out and golfed his ball.
hey, he's like, Lord, thank you. My prayer for the week is answered. I'm good. He's
And
like, I'm good
I
the rest of the
mean,
year.
I was so sad for him when he walked off the 72nd hole today and won because his family wasn't even there. You know, it was like,
Yeah.
I was I was bummed for him. Like I mentioned in the podcast last week,
I'm I'm
he was 80 to 1. Some people got him in Vegas. They were posting it 125 to 1. I'm pretty pissed off right now that I didn't get him at 125 to 1. But whatever. I'm
Stonewall.
also pretty stoked about how his win is going to basically pay for my trip to California to come see you and my Chargers in October.
Let's
But
go.
dude, it was his time, man. It was his time. Cam Young lit it up yesterday, played his ass off,
Yeah.
and then everybody thought Fleetwood was going to make a charge until he made triple bogey on 17, and that was the end of him.
So let me ask you a question since you brought his name up. Is granted, Phil has had way more tour victories before he finally got the monkey off his back. But is Fleetwood in this kind of same scenario of, we like him, he's a good player.
Dude,
He's no slouch by any means necessary, and he always, I can't say always, but
no, no,
for
no,
a
no,
majority
you're
of the
right.
time.
Always.
Okay, thank you. He puts himself in position on Sunday to make a move and just
You know
can't
why?
get it
You know
done.
why?
And, like, I'm not trying to be upset about mean about it. I'm just
You know
like,
why?
I j hmm,
The flat stick.
yeah.
I mean, the guy's golf swing
Folks,
is Purina puppy chow. Okay. I mean, the guy's golf swing is one of my favorites on tour. Okay.
clip it.
And I saw
That was great.
somebody tweet today when he made triple on 17 and said Fleetwood closing a tournament is like, I forget who it was. Some closer in baseball that always blew state. I think it was Fernando Rodney. Like he had a awful, and
Yeah,
it's like,
I know. But and the thing is, like, no ill
no,
will against the guy. I mean, I
no.
like him. He's a solid player. It's just, we just mentioned 2 minutes ago, if you get that flat stick working, this is what you need to do. When you go 58 to 59,
And
yeah, it's
I
not
would
that golf
love to
is
know, and this is another stat that Harmon did. I would love to know his percentage, fairways hit percentage, because dude, whenever
yeah,
he needed to step up when somebody got close and rip one and hit a fairway, he did it. And one of our
yeah.
listeners that we always talk about, TP, TP. He, dude,
Oh, yeah.
he's Tyler's a lefty, okay? And he texted me yesterday and he goes, dude, Brian Harman, he's 36 years old, a lefty, 5'7". Literally, it's like I am watching myself lead the open right now. LOL.
The dude's
5'7",
5'7"?
bro. And
Wow.
then Tyler today, after he won, he goes, remember when Harmon made 2 holes in one round on tour? And I was like, holy
That's
shit, I totally spaced on that.
kid's good.
Dude, dude,
Kid's good.
it was his time, dude. He handled himself well. He handled all the moments. Whenever anybody got close, somebody made a birdie. Whenever he made but I mean, he started off bad today. He started off bad yesterday. Our boy Jerry that we always listen
Right.
to, he's like, oh, Cam Young's going to shoot 65. Harmon's going to shoot 71. They're going to playoff. I'm like, dude, Cam Young ain't going 66, 65 in the open on the weekend. And he goes, Harmon ain't shooting in the 60s 4 days in the Open Championship. And then he won, and Jerry, because he's being Jerry, tries to throw shade at us. He goes, I
Yeah.
told you won't go shoot in the 60s all 4 days. Yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, did he win?
You know what, Jerry? I got some
Yeah.
shade for you. I also got some shade for everyone else out there that was talking smack on these majors this year. And I know I brought this up to you, Scott, and this is not a kick rocks moment, but let me
Oh, do we
just
have
say
a Graham
this.
Cohen kick rocks moment?
I find it very intriguing that everyone in the golf world was talking so much shit about, oh, what was the leader after a 2-round score? Oh, we're at 10 under. Oh, if it keeps
Preach,
playing like
brother.
this, they're going to be shooting 22 under. I'm like, what? I was like, the conditions. I was like, the sun hasn't come out. I promise you, it's going to dry up. Like, oh, this is BS. The U.S. Open shouldn't finish at minus 18 or minus blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, Kepka won it at minus 17 or 18 5 years ago. Like, what are you talking about? And it's just like, oh yeah, so the U.S. Open after 2 rounds finished at 10, and then after the fourth round they finished at 10 under. So what happened this year? Oh, so dude had a 5-stroke lead and was 11, no,
Yeah.
12 under, I'm sorry, and then kept it go and still finished at 13 under, and everyone's like, oh, blah blah blah. But wait a minute, what's the difference? And the conditions were even crazier now. Like, why is everyone making such a big deal about what they shoot versus the US Open? The conditions are supposed to be tough. Like, yeah, they are. Not every course that the US Open plays at is par gonna be what leads. I can't even think off the top of my head, but what was the last time the US Open, the winner was like -3,
Well, I can
-4?
tell you in my memory from the US Open
I mean, I remember it was within the last like 10, 15 years because I remember one of them. I think maybe it was at
in
Bethpage
19
where it was in
in
low single digits.
1999 when I was at Pinehurst for the US Open on the first round and the last round, uh, Payne Stewart won, and he was the only person
Yeah.
under par. He was 1 under par. Other than
Right.
that,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I knew it was
I
something
don't
like that,
remember.
but still, it's just
Irrelevant.
like, dude, the way golf is played now, everyone's bombing it so far now that it's just like you have to specifically set up courses to,
I'm glad
I
you
don't want to say trick the
I'm
players,
glad you brought that up.
but like, you know what I mean? Like, they have to do so much
Yeah.
work that it's just like, if you are purposely making the course so hard that the winning score after 4 rounds is 4 under, like, that just means your cut line is gonna be what?
How many
Plus
people
8?
how
And
many
then you'll
people bitch
have
about the Masters when somebody goes deep on the back 9 and shoots 31?
no one! No
Thank
one!
you.
Because
Thank you.
that's where all the
What's the
magic
saying,
happens.
Graham? What's the
Hey,
saying,
everyone
Graham, at Augusta? When does the tournament start?
the back 9. The back
Drop
9 on
mic moment.
Sunday.
Kick
Like,
rocks, don't care.
like
I'm glad you brought it up because you know what? Kick rocks, all these people talking about LA Country. Oh, it's too easy. It's pitch putt. Oh, yeah? Really? 10 under after 2, 10 under after 4. Eat one.
right. Yeah, and even these conditions, homeboy finished at -13, right? It was 13 or 12 or 4, whatever it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like everything is just so relative. Like, oh, it's so easy out there that everyone's doing it. And I'm like, well, if that was the case, if it was so easy,
Right.
then all the other scores would have been that low. And then it's just the luck of the draw of like how things get done. So I'm like, you know what? Kick rocks. After this season, for all the majors, it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, all right, if we hear this BS next year, believe
Yeah.
me, there will be some words that need to be said about it.
So,
So
real quick, other golf news. The event played on the PGA Tour opposite of the Open Championship was the Barracuda Championship in Truckee, California at Old Greenwood. And like I mentioned last week, I've played this golf course numerous times. One of my favorite golf courses ever. One of my favorite rounds of golf I've ever played. What a day to be a lefty. Because actually,
it's not something you hear
yeah,
every
right.
day.
Akshay, I'm probably butchering his name. Akshay Bhatia wins it in the playoff. The
Do you
guy
think
is
that
literally like, if he hid behind a light pole, you probably couldn't see him because he's that tall and skinny. Dude, he turned pro super early,
you
declined going to
sorry.
colleges for scholarships. He's one of George Gankis's prodigies in Thousand Oaks.
Oh, okay.
At age 21, won his first PGA Tour event in a playoff. Amazing. Amazing.
That's no, that's super
Yeah.
amazing. I'm just I, I mean, golf is as golf's one of those sports that is just like you'd kind of want college to help
Right.
propel you, but you really don't need it. But it's not very often that you hear players that are that
Yeah.
good that either skip out on college golf or take a different route. So
Yeah.
that's quite
Pretty cool.
interesting.
Pretty
I'll
cool.
say that.
Especially Old Greenwood's one of
Yeah,
my favorite courses, especially after one of the rounds of
yeah.
golf I had there. I don't even want to talk about it, but it's a good story.
Is that the video that you
No,
sent
it's a
me?
great story, so I'm gonna tell it
Was
right
that
now.
Oh.
My first time ever to Tahoe with Maddie, Fuji, and Bear. Uh, we
Yep.
went to Tahoe on our first trip, and we stayed at Harrah's at South Shore. Truckee's about an hour away. We went to the club at Harrah's that night. We're up all night, and I get to the golf course. We're warming up on the range. I did not hit the club face once. And, we had like 4 hours sleep. Like it was like, hungover.
Oh,
And my boy Fuji that listens to the podcast, huge Dodger fan, he's like, dude, let's go to the bar and let's take a shot of Fireball. And I'm like, let's do it. I'm like, it can't get worse, so let's go. Take it, take a shot of Fireball, and your boy Wastradamus birdies 4 out of his first 5 holes, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Okay, just go with it. Shoot 31 on the front 9 with the bogey, and literally did not hit the club
Okay.
face on the range. And to this day, it's so funny because Maddie, Fuji, and I always talk about. They're like, yeah, the PGA Tour players are pretty good playing Old Greenwood, but can they shoot 68 at Old Greenwood on 3 hours sleep, then ripping a shot of Fireball?
After the night we had last night.
I
Woo!
mean, I'm not gonna go ahead and say it, but shot a little 6-8. Thanks for playing. 31 on the front, chopped it up on the back, shot one over. Yeah, whatever. Don't care.
Uh, disclaimer, this score was shot years
It
ago,
was.
and this score does not affect my
It
handicap
was a
as of right
long
now.
time ago.
So, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
protecting you, bro. I'm protecting you.
So as thanks for saying that. Love it.
Yeah.
As we finish up the podcast, let's talk about something we brought up a couple weeks ago, and that is the Ryder Cup standings. Well, Harmon won today and moved himself up to number 3 in Ryder Cup standings. Does that mean JT's out?
To quote my best friend, bye bye. Like,
He
yeah.
gone.
Bye bye. Like,
I remember top
here's the
6 in points
yeah,
are automatic, and then 6 captain's choices.
yes. But before you even say anything, you in our notes, I'm looking at it. You did the top 14 players, 1 through 14. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that the top 6 or I'll even give you the top 10. The top 10 would be who they are as of right now. I'd have been like, "What? Come again?
Not only
Who?"
that, not top 10. How about number 2 and number 3?
Right?
Wyndham Clark and Brian Harman are number 2 and number 3 in Ryder Cup. I love it, bro.
Yeah,
And
I
that
mean, hey, fresh blood. It's nice seeing new faces represent the home team.
and
So,
that and out of that top 10, Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Harman, Koepka, Xander, Cantley, Homa, Cam Young, Spieth, Keegan. The top 10, those are all gritty dudes.
yeah. And they're all still fairly young, too.
Morikawa's 11, Ricky's
Fairly.
12. Dude, I'm glad I'm not Zach Johnson.
I can't believe Zach
Did you
Johnson's
see Zach Johnson congratulating
Is it?
Harmon after the event? It was awesome.
No.
It was
Was
awesome.
it up?
It was
Oh, I thought
it
you were gonna
was
say it was
no, it was
awkward.
awesome, dude. It was like it was sick because he was like, "Welcome to the team, mother beep." I mean, dude,
Right? Okay, so just
the
quickly, so
top
it's 6
6.
and then
Who
6.
obviously top 6 are automatic. Real quick, who are your 6 captain picks? Out of the top, I only gave us 14 because
Well, I'll just save you. The two people on the out looking in is obviously JT and wow.
Your long shot, and the British.
Uh, yeah, Burns. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, Sam Burns has been playing well. That's the problem. But then again, compared to Morikawa, yeah, he's playing decent. He's been playing Keegan Bradley, dude. By the way, I know. Do they have comeback player of the year
Yes,
in
I
golf?
think.
Well, if they
Yeah,
don't, that dude 100% gets it. Not that he fell off the deep end, but from where he was to where he brought his game back to, kudos to you, my friend.
and last time we talked
Yeah,
about the Ryder Cup standings, I was dogging Cam Young because I was like, all his points came from last year. Kudos to him
yeah,
for playing well this
yeah,
week and getting it back.
yeah.
I
To be honest, and I don't think this is a stretch. I'm sorry to cut you off, but how about Spieth playing pretty decent this week?
Yeah,
I don't feel like he's put it
he's
together,
getting it
in the last
he's getting it
5
back.
months.
He's getting
You know what I
close.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting better, but where he was at the beginning of the season, like towards the end from
Yeah.
technical
Yeah.
last year, and then up until now, he's just like he's been a roller coaster,
I
just like,
mean
up
I
and
mean,
down.
I
Really hasn't won
I agree
anything,
with
but
you. I agree with you,
consistent.
dude. Top 6 automatic bursts. I go straight down the points list and I take the next 6. And
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm totally
and
fine with that.
Max Homa, did you see what he wrote on his glove to start the second round of the Open?
It was, not initials, but it was like 3 letters. I couldn't tell what it was.
NFG. Do you know what that stands for? And
I know what the
And
FG
because
stands for,
we
but
throw one F bomb out a week, I'm gonna be the one that throws it. The NFG, no fucks given.
Oh, NO. I'm sorry.
NFG.
I
He's
I didn't I thought you said a different letter first.
he
NFG, I
goes,
know what that
I'm gonna
stands
go
for,
out
okay.
and play like I don't care. And he had his highest finish in a major. On that
Wow.
note,
Hmm.
folks, it's been a fun week. I gotta give shout out real quick to Ricky Fowler and Ricky Romano playing solid golf yesterday in the pouring down rain, shooting 4 under, no bogeys, pouring down rain. The FedEx playoffs are coming. So as we wrap up tonight, we got a lot of stuff getting ready to start kicking off. NFL football, yeah,
We do?
training camps opened up. Couple fights yesterday in Jets training camp. Not sure if you saw that. Yeah, we got the Jets
No.
on Hard Knocks. We got FedEx Cup playoffs. We got
Love
fantasy
it.
football season. We got a lot of fun stuff. But
We do.
let's go, dude. Like I always say when it's football season, I have to sing. It's not time for me to sing yet. But as we wrap up tonight,
No.
congratulations to the champion golfer of the year, Brian Harman. And congratulations to me for making him my long shot of the week. And Graham for picking Kepka in the PGA. And also, the podcast said Fowler was going to win an event before the end of the year. So I'm pretty sure we're batting 1,000 right about now.
Hey, our golf picks this season so far has been pretty good, if I would say so
Yeah.
myself.
So on that note, I love you, Graham. I love doing this with you. I don't know what it was about this week's Open Championship, but it was very impactful for me because it was a dude winning that isn't that big name guy. I like that. I love it. And here's a question for you. And I'm sure we've talked about this before on the podcast. Real quick,
Uh-oh.
as we close,
Hit me.
what is your favorite major championship of the four?
Oh, I've said this from the beginning. Dude, ever since you and I have met, I remember our conversation about this specifically. Um, and the funny thing is, you actually kind of, I don't want to say convinced me, but I was a little surprised. But then I feel like you recently have changed. I always said personally for me, it was the
You
Masters
have.
just because
You have.
there's so much about it. Um, and then, I remember when I said to you, I think I said Masters, US, then British, and then
Yeah.
it's the Open. So our Open, their Open, and then the Players, but or not sorry, the Players, the PGA. But we'd go back and forth on this, and it's just like, yes, the mystique of it's. I love the British, but it's just like for me, it's always been the Masters
Yeah.
U.S. Open, personally, just because to be honest, I'm just more familiar with the courses here that they play at. I mean, I'm semi familiar with some of the courses in Europe, but it's just like I've always been Masters U.S.
Yeah.
Open, the Open, and then the Players. But what about you?
Well,
Because I know for a while you were always the
yeah.
US.
Forever, I was all about the US Open because I had been to it at
Right.
Pinehurst the first time and then at Torrey the second time. And I like pars being good scores.
Right.
And I like bogeys, which is weird, being good scores, you know?
No, I
And
know
the
what you
US
mean. It's
Open bogey is a good score. But after my one and only trip to Augusta, I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the history. I fell in love with the patrons that get to go there year after year,
right.
and it totally switched for me.
Right.
Just, like we always say, you win Augusta, you got dinner plans every Tuesday night, Masters Week for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you can't go wrong either way. It's just I feel like
Right,
everyone, well, I can't say everyone, but most people that you ask, the PGA was full.
right.
For
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're a PGA player, and that's
right.
like I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm not looking
Yeah,
for the heat, the
yeah.
smoke, whatever these kids want to say. Like I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying for me, one of the main reasons I do choose the Masters is because of all the heritage, but it's just like when you don't have to go, or should I say, when the US opens at different courses
Every
every
major.
year, the f-
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying. The fact that you remember what happened at Augusta from previous championships, like there's certain shots you just don't forget. And I'm not talking about like the iconic Tiger Woods and all that stuff, but dude, like there's shots that Phil Mickelson, like when he won, dude, I'll
The
never
jump,
forget
the jump,
because we were
the
there.
jump that Mickelson when he
Yeah, the
made
jump or um uh lefty
Schwartzel,
um
or not Schwartzel, sorry,
from Florida, no, from Florida.
Bubba,
Not from Florida. The
Bubba
two-time Bubba, yeah, Bubba. Dude, whoever is gonna ever forget that shot that he
in the
hit on
playoff.
10 in the playoff?
Dude, my
Like
first
like
introduction to Augusta National was in 2015 with Jerry and Rob, and I remember texting Scavern, Fowler's caddy, and I'm like, "What time are y'all going off?" And he goes, "We're going off 8:30 on number 10." And we
right.
met him on We were on the way. We were 5 minutes away. Done deal. And we were literally, and I'm like, that's where you hit that shot from?
Oh, dude, people.
But you're
I
100% right. Augusta, obviously, the Masters play at the same venue every year. And the history of that golf course from '86 when Jack made the putt, it's
right?
easier to remember that. But there's no better announcement of a major champion than what we saw today, and that was at the Open Championship when they say
Yeah,
the
I'll
champion
agree.
golfer of the year is Brian Harman. That's the coolest shit you'll ever hear. And last year, when Cam Smith won, we named the title of the episode the champion golfer of the year, Cam Smith. This episode, this
We did.
episode will be named the champion golfer of the year, Brian Harman.
That it will, my
But
friend.
but
That it will.
as we leave, all the players that play in all the majors all say the greatest run event of the year is the PGA Championship. The best field, the best
Dude, this
field in golf is always the PGA Championship because there's no amateurs.
you're not wrong, dude. What Michael Block did is what is the I can't say the only thing, but like the
Right.
numero uno memory that's in my head that I will never forget.
That's the
So
memory in golf of 2023.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Graham,
it is
major
what it is.
championship season is over. It's FedEx Cup playoff time, Ryder Cup, NFL season,
It's Ryder Cup time. And FX Cup.
NFL season camp opened up. It's getting ready to get fun, bro.
I know. I can't wait, dude. About to hit some of these training camps. I'm ready. I'm ready for dude, I'm ready for for preseason. The one game that we get this year. I'm just ready for the season to start. Got the home opener. I just need to figure out who I'm taking to the home opener. Who wants to come see Miami get that ass beat? Hopefully. Hopefully. Um I don't want to dude, that on paper, we're not getting into it. That's another episode. It is what it is. Folks, as we always say, it's a pleasure doing this for you, but we do it I don't want to say that we do it for you, we do it for us. As we always said, we're only doing this because I love hanging out with you, Scott. We would do this for nothing, and we're doing this for fun. And if it turns into something great, if it doesn't, it is what it is. So I'm just happy to be here with you and doing this as always. And as the best homie always says, bye bye.
Special shout out BCB Clothing, newest sponsor. And on that note, happy 40th, Andy. Good night, friends.